All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So tonight's webinar is on the power of passion projects. I'm Irene. I'm one of the counselors here at College Planning Source. We also have Christina, Karen, and Kristen who will be leading this workshop as well. We're going to be going over exactly what passion projects are, what the benefits are, how they're viewed by colleges, examples of passion projects, and how to get started.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen. I'm one of the counselors. And as Irene just mentioned, this is the agenda, and she kind of already hit on what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to start with the basics. What are passion projects? Why are they important? How can they make an impact on your college application? And then we're also going to share some specific student examples of people we have worked with, as well as help you get started on your own passion project. So let's start with the basics. What is a passion project? It is a way to show your interest in a topic. It can showcase things like your talent, your intellect, and overall, it can definitely help make you stand out in the college admissions process. And moving on to the next slide. And when I refer to standing out, I guess I should start by helping you understand the college admissions landscape. It's very competitive, as you probably already know. So colleges use a lot of colleges use a holistic review, which means there is not just one factor like grades to determine if you get in. And it is more than just your academic achievements. There are things like your essays and letters of recommendation and the activities that you do, which can be this passion project we're going to talk about tonight. Many students can have the same grades, test scores, and even clubs at school, but passion projects can make your application unique. The importance of a passion project, we already mentioned creativity. It can definitely showcase how you're creative. It can showcase how you're dedicated to something, how you're interested in something, and basically how you like to spend your free time can be your passion project. It's something tangible that a college admissions officer can see that shows your potential, and they can also maybe even contribute, see how you can contribute to your campus as well. The overall benefits of doing a passion project, it helps you elaborate on a topic, maybe not otherwise shown in your application. It can show your initiative to explore something on your own time. And then already mentioned, it can show something about your creativity, and it can connect you to a possible future career. And it also will make you seem pretty unique. When everyone can maybe look the same on paper, this can definitely help you make you stand out.
All right. And so the UC schools, when they are reviewing your application, they do take a holistic approach where it's not just your grades that they're looking at, but they're also going to be looking at your extracurricular activities, including any passion projects, which can significantly enhance your UC application. And so on their website, they do have 13 factors that they review when they're considering you for admissions. And when you take a look at the 13 factors, you'll notice that multiple times they'll mention special projects, special talents, special interests. So the first one, outstanding performance in one or more special projects in any academic field of study, special talents, achievements, and awards in a particular field, special interests, completion of special projects undertaken in the context of your high school curriculum or in conjunction with special school events, projects, or programs. They don't just mention it once, but they do mention it several times, as you could see. And so, again, passion projects, they demonstrate qualities like creativity, leadership, perseverance. These are all things that the UCs look for in students. The UCs also value students who contribute to the college campus, and passion projects could be a good predictor of how a student might enrich the campus culture. They also look for intellectual curiosity, and so students that are excited about learning, that's really what they want, and passion projects are another way to really demonstrate this.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina and I'm one of our counselors, and I'm going to be kind of going over the difference sometimes between students as admissions officers or UC application readers kind of go through and really kind of look at different students and look at the comparisons between the two. So on our left, we have student A, who has a strong GPA of 4.3, has taken multiple AP and honors level courses, and may be involved in like a club sport or two, plays some sports at their local high school, maybe does a weekend or two of volunteering at the food bank, does UC Cosmos for one summer. And so again, kind of looking at that student, maybe an admissions officer would see like a strong academic profile, but in terms of extracurriculars, a lot of kids play sports, a lot of kids volunteer at the food bank. Some do Cosmos or other kind of programs over the summer, but then you look at student B. Maybe student B isn't, as strong as student A from a GPA standpoint, but a lot of colleges like UC using 13 factors to admit you, they're looking often at more than just your GPA. A lot of colleges now are really kind of trying to hone in on your essays and also your extracurriculars. Oftentimes we write essays either about elements of who we are or about our experiences or just things that we've kind of completed, such as passion projects. So the second student, you can see that they have a strong GPA with a 3.8, took multiple AP and honors courses, probably the same or maybe a little bit different than student A, also involved in several clubs in a sport. But again, this is where you can really see those differences. We have all had students who've maybe done a lot of community service. Some will found a nonprofit. Some will get together with other students to kind of work on nonprofits. I've had several students, one who founded a nonprofit that aided orphans in India. When you kind of do something like that, you can see just how much that helps you to stand out compared to other students your age. And so that's going to create a real kind of gap when they're looking at student A versus student B. Another big gap too is, again, I've actually had a student do something very similar to this last bubble. She was doing water filtration for the Native communities on reservations. And so, again, she was super passionate about the environment, and that's exactly what a passion project should be. It should be something that you're passionate about, whether that highlights that passion or sometimes really kind of solves a problem related to your passion. So this student B, spent the summer building water filtration devices for children in rural China, right? Maybe they were passionate about the environment. So you can see kind of that big difference at the end where there's that big gap between student A and student B. And that's kind of exactly what we want, because again, even though the GPA is not as high, the extracurriculars are just really making up for that. And that's exactly what a passion project should be.
All right, so now we're going to go into different examples of passion projects. So for this first one, it was a student who majored in biophysics. He founded Med Pursuit, which is a platform that helps students explore the medical field through podcasts with industry experts. So some of the individuals that he had on his podcast were like Dean of Admissions at UCSD School of Medicine or Duke School of Medicine, all different types of doctors like anesthesiologists, cardiologists, surgeons. He connected students to internship opportunities as well, so clinical research and university programs. So on the site, there was actually links to these different opportunities, whether it's Palomar Pathmakers or KP Launch, had a description of each one of the programs as well. And so overall, it did give insight into careers and educational paths to become a professional in the healthcare industry. As a high school student, it could be, difficult to know exactly where to start with exploring if you are interested in pre-med. And so just having a platform like this to kind of go through and hear firsthand from industry experts, but to also be connected to more of those hands-on opportunities could really help. For the second example, we have a student that majored in computer science. And so she created a nonprofit that gives students from all backgrounds their own coding platforms that guide them through learning, practicing, and applying programming concepts and skills. When she was first learning computer science, she actually struggled with it. It was really difficult for her. And that's why she was inspired to create these courses so that it was easily digestible for students that were just starting out. And also it kind of catered to the different levels that the students were at. She ended up developing courses for Python, Java, and C++. She also created books for every single one of these programming languages as well that were very detailed. And she posted all of these courses on Udemy and got over 10,000 students. She also offered tutoring sessions with 250 plus on-demand tutors. She realized too that not every single student might have access to a computer, so she donated free coding textbooks, which she also created to those with limited digital access. So this again shows that she combined her potential major interest, which was computer science, and really helping others.
So this next example is a student who was interested in business. So she actually created an Etsy shop to sell items that she knitted. She generated, I'm not sure the exact number, but it was a good amount in profit. And again, that went into her essay about it. It went into her activity descriptions to really show that she was able to set up and maintain a profitable business at such a young age. She was also adopted, and so she donated some of her profits and also brought some of her knitted goods to the orphanage each time she visited. So then not only did she create a business about something that she's passionate about, but she's kind of really doing a lot of good with that business as well, which was another passion of hers because she was also adopted. So this is a good example to, again, tie in any skills that you have if you're interested in business, and also maybe using elements of your profit that you make or even knowledge that you gained to also make an impact.
This was an example of a student that I had worked with that had a very strong interest in the healthcare field, in particular with nutrition. She had a father that was diabetic. And so we had talked when she was actually in 9th grade about her interests. And I like this as an example of a passion project because it goes from 9th grade through 12th grade in steps. So the first step is something a lot of students will do. They'll create a club at their school. She created a nutrition club at her school. I remember seeing posters all around the cafeteria and around the hallways about, do you know how much sugar is in that Coke that you're drinking, or in that snack that you got out of the vending machine? And so she was raising awareness through her club that met throughout the school year. And then as she moved into 10th grade, she started getting a little more confidence. She wanted to start educating. So she started with the cafeteria staff and had a presentation already done for them about the different types of oils that they were using for cooking and how possibly they could integrate new ingredients into what they were using. And then in her junior year, we would have all school assemblies and there would be a different topic. And so she thought it would be a great idea to bring in a nutritionist from the community to talk to the students during this assembly. Especially as students go off to college, she recognized that sometimes students don't eat the best when they go off on their own without their parents' supervision. And then when she was a senior, she took it even a step farther. She decided she wanted to leave something behind once she graduated. So we kind of came up with this idea of like, what if we kind of combined your interest in nutrition with the environment? And so she actually started a composting system at the school. And she even took it a step farther and wanted to grow herbs that the cafeteria could use for their cooking as well.
Okay, so now how do we get started? These are just some general ideas, but I think remembering too that this is where creativity and just the power of your own passion will really kick in to link, whether it's a potential major or how you want to just expand that interest. But these are some common kind of ideas to get started. The first one being a club at school. So maybe there's something that doesn't exist that you want to bring onto your school campus, into your school community, but also extending that a little bit further. And maybe there's a way to tie that into your greater community outside of school. Sometimes students will partner with, whether it's a nonprofit organization or, something else in the community that they can help kind of connect that branch from their school club to a little bit further. Creating a YouTube channel or any really social media platform account that's aimed towards something that matters to you. So of course, we're in a digital era where a lot of outreach and connecting with people from your community, but all over, can happen through responsible, I should say, social media platforms. So those are two really good ideas to help get your message and your idea out. Organize a community project. So again, if you maybe started something at school, or maybe you just wanted to focus it within your own community outside of your school environment, there's a lot of different ways to do a community-based project, including, you know, if you think of something as simple that already exists, like beach cleanups, or, you know, Karen mentioned with even composting. A lot of students who are interested in, let's say, kind of an environmental spin, will look at, you know, different ways that they can get their passion and connect it into the community. Develop an app or website. So again, that's going to be more specific to depending on your skill set, but that's a great way to take it kind of even a step further. Start a business. It could be a business as simple as an Etsy shop. It doesn't have to be, you know, something super large scale, but more manageable to where your skill set is. Writing a book or a blog. Blogs are also a great thing to consider if, let's say, you have travel plans over the summer and maybe your family's traveling, or you're just going to be more on the go. You know, taking kind of that travel experience with you and using a blog to do that is a really unique and creative way. Creating a podcast. So podcasts have definitely been an up and coming thing. A lot of people tap into them. It's a great way to, again, connect beyond just the walls of your own school. And then conduct research on a topic of interest. So oftentimes students are waiting to hear back from, let's say, professors or, you know, people who are already involved in research, but you can kind of take matters into your own hands and conduct your own research within topics of interest. And then planning out your passion projects. So this is where you really want to be as intentional as you can be. So defining that clear goal for your project. What are you hoping to really do and accomplish from start to finish? Creating that detailed timeline will just allow you to track your project overall and your progress, but also not get too far ahead of yourself, right? So even just starting simple and seeing where things can naturally progress to something bigger. It's okay to start small. It's okay to start with a simple idea, but being intentional about how you outline this project in your timeline will just help keep you on track. And also reevaluate if something's not working, where can you shift to adjust accordingly? Identify any resources that can be helpful. That could include actual materials and supplies that you might need to make something work. It could also be just a network of people or expertise that's going to help push an idea forward. Perhaps you're partnering with a friend on an idea, or maybe there's a mentor that you can kind of run things through, but any resources that you can gather will be important to identify in the beginning. Develop the execution strategies. So how are you going to tackle all of this? How are you going to see this out in its different phases? Like I said before, things can also naturally unpack themselves a little bit. So even if you have a very simple, small idea, you can build on that idea over time, but you really want to think about your initial strategy and how you want to really first launch into your project in that phase one. And then a constant evaluation. How are things going? Are you meeting goals? Do you need to reevaluate anything? Do you need to pull more resources? Maybe run an idea through somebody, including your counselor, and then make any necessary adjustments to your plan. It's more than okay for things to not go as perfect as you planned them to go. But always kind of making sure that you're checking in with yourself and your project and making those adjustments will serve you well in the end.
And here are some resources I think that are really helpful Sometimes creating an app can be extremely overwhelming. If you're just getting interested in computer science, maybe we've done a little in Python or a little in C language, a little in HTML or Java. But we, again, creating an app is super daunting. And so these are some resources, and of course you guys will all get a copy of this too, but I would say to maybe screenshot this or write this down too, if you're interested. MIT App Inventor is just a really kind of cool system that helps you create apps, but it lets you kind of do it piece by piece, and it's a lot of stripped down coding. You're really just dragging and dropping a lot of the times, but I just had a student this past application cycle. She created a breast cancer monitoring application using MIT App Inventor. And so it's a really great tool if you're just getting started in computer science, but you still want to do a passion project with something app related. Creation Crate is another cool one that I found. A lot of the times I'll have engineering students who may want to build like a mini robot, or may want to build something engineering related, but sometimes you don't know the tools. You're not quite sure how to go about it. Creation Crate actually sends you a whole crate of little engineering tools, and then you can actually build a mini robot or an alarm clock or something like that. And they kind of walk you through it so that you get the hang of it and can create something. Blue Stamp Engineering is almost like a summer program too. They will actually guide you through a full engineering creation of a larger passion project. I've had a lot of students do this as well. And I think if you're interested in engineering, this is just a really cool place to start if you want a little bit more support as you create something. Now for research, a lot of students that I've had have used Polygience. I have one student right now who's in 10th grade using Lumiere also. And she's on the final stages of almost getting her research paper on environmental science published. And so sometimes we want to do research, but doing a self-guided research paper is really challenging, especially most of you guys in high school haven't published a research paper quite yet. And so these resources and systems can help connect you with a mentor to help you kind of work through and really complete your research. Same with Scholar Launch. Another option too is sometimes cold emailing professors. We do have a professor research template we can send out to you guys. And I've had a lot of kids cold email professors and then become involved in research projects. I have one student in 10th grade who emailed a professor and is now working on a neuroscience project that's looking at, protein kinase C and how that impacts Alzheimer's. And so sometimes, it's kind of awkward to cold email people, especially professors at universities you may want to attend, but it'll never impact your admission at all. And sometimes if you don't ask, you'll never know. So I would highly recommend looking at some of these resources to help you get started and make a passion project that you'd want to create a little bit more manageable. And so for this last one, really kind of what we want to say is that embarking on a passion project journey, it's really about identifying your unique interests, setting these goals, right? And saying, hey, this is kind of brainstorming what I want to create. Then, not procrastinating, right? Taking the first step, whether it's conducting research, reaching out to mentors, drafting a project plan. All of the passion projects that you've seen today, they all started from right where you guys are now with an idea or just a really, strong interest in something. But it's, putting that plan into action that really creates something unique. A passion project, it unlocks personal growth and it really showcases your dedication and creativity. It builds a whole lot of confidence when you're able to create something that either helps other people or really just showcases how interested you are in something. We're of course here to help you every step of the way, but thank you guys for coming to this, and just you guys can do it. Just got to start somewhere. And I hope that you got some good ideas from this today. Thank you guys for attending. Do we want to maybe ask if anyone has any questions? Okay, so I think one question we have in the chat is how late is it to start a passion project? If you have not applied to college yet, it is not too late. The only time it's late is when the application has been sent in. Setting up a blog, for example, takes honestly a day. You have to create blog entries. And so, you know, again, it's probably something we want to start at least a few weeks before you send your application in. But it's never too late. I mean, I think, especially too, if you have a passion for something, you know, all of you guys are underclassmen. You're really at the point where you can kind of start something. You have a lot of time. And so, especially too, even if you're going into your college application cycle, you have a ton of time. And so I would just say now is the time to make a plan. Coming to the webinar was the first step, right? Now you have the knowledge. And so now it's kind of time to start planning and thinking about what you're passionate about. What would you like to do? I don't know. That was my answer. Do you guys have any other comments on that?
Oh, sounds good.
Good. You guys have any other questions for us? Now is a good time to pop it in the chat if you do.